Hey guys, this is Jade from Ripco UK. Today we're going to do an in-depth guide on buying your perfect wetsuit. So this is Maya, our model for today. First we're going to look at fit, which is super important if you want the wetsuit to work well. It should feel like a second skin. So how the wetsuit is designed is to keep the majority of the water out. It's super snug all over the body with great seals on the neck, the wrist and the ankles. So we want to avoid water entering the wetsuit. We call this flushing, which is when water rushes through one of the seals of the suit. We can avoid this by making sure that those key areas are super tight and the fit is perfect. So we want to ensure the fit of the neck is correct. By doing this, you can make sure that it doesn't sit too low or sit too high, and to ensure there's a perfect seal the whole way around the neck area. A way you can check this is, see Maya, as she bends forward and cranes her neck forward, there isn't a gap on the back of the neck there. As you can see here on Maya, if you check the arm fit, there are no wrinkles, imperfections in the suit going down to the wrist, but also on the wrist, there is no gaps either, which is super important. So another thing you want to check is the ankle. You want to make sure that that wetsuit goes straight down to the bottom, just above your foot, and sits nicely with no gaps again. Another area you want to look at to make sure your wetsuit fits correctly is the chest area. So as you can see on Maya, when we lift her arm up, there is no excess neoprene here, showing that it fits correctly over her chest. So another thing you want to check to make sure your suit fits correctly is, especially on a chest entry suit, that the shoulders aren't too tight. By doing this, you can see that the seam is all lined up, and also sometimes the material can go a bit shiny. Another thing you want to check is the fit at the lower back. As you can see on Maya, it is super snug and fits perfectly with the curve of her back. Sometimes you can see that it will get a little bit baggier, which means that it's too short for you and you would need to go a bigger size. So finally what we're going to do is going to check over the whole suit to ensure there's no baggy areas or wrinkling of the suit. So here we have Maya in a really poor fitting wetsuit. As you can see, the whole chest area is super baggy. Under the arms is super baggy too. As you can see also, there's loads of wrinkles throughout the wetsuit, and if she bends over, there is a massive gap at the back of the neck. When coming to store, it's always handy to know your size. You can have a look on our website at our size chart, or we do have one in store, but please, it's super important to use ours. In store, we have tests and loads of experience to make sure that we get the perfect wetsuit fit for you. When coming into store, trying on your wetsuit, you're gonna get sweaty, but we're used to it. You can either bring in swimwear to wear underneath, or just underwear is perfectly fine. Thickness is super important when choosing your wetsuit. We have a load of different thicknesses, ranging from a 2mm spring suit going to a 3.2, 4.3, 5.3 and then even a 6.4 winter suit. It might seem confusing, but all it is the thickness of that wetsuit in millimeters. When looking at a wetsuit, you can find all the information about millimeters on the arm of the suit. So as you can see, this one is a 5.3, meaning on the body and the upper leg is 5mm, with the arms and the lower leg being 3mm. So how do we choose thickness? It's really important to know the temperature of water you're surfing in. So once you know the temperature of water you're going to be surfing in, it's a really good idea to use Ripco's temperature guide to give you an idea of what thickness to go for. So in the UK at the moment, the water's about 11 degrees. So we'd recommend going for a 5.3 or a 5.4, but if you are pretty active or don't feel the cold as much, a 4.3 would be sweet. Also, you can have a look on our blog on the Ripco website, which talks all about thickness. As soon as the water temperature drops below 12 or 13 degrees, you might want to start thinking about wetsuit accessories to keep you extra toasty. This could be a hood, boots, or gloves. If you're still cold in the water, you can always go for a hooded vest, which slips under your suit with a hood, or we also do a built-in hooded wetsuit, which keeps you super toasty. With a built-in hooded suit, it takes away that flushing throughout the suit, which keeps you super toasty and warm. So if you're a really cold person, this is the suit to go for. Also, when buying a wetsuit, you want to think about the entry system. We have three main types: back zip, zip free, and chest zip. Here we have a Dawn Patrol back zip. It is super easy to get on and off due to the zip at the back. However, you could struggle from flexibility issues due to the whole zip going down the spine. It also is an extra area for water to get through. So here we have a chest entry suit. It increases flexibility throughout the suit, and it has that little bit of extra warmth because it doesn't have that massive zip at the back. However, it could be a little bit difficult to get into if you have manoeuvrability issues. So here we have the zip-free suit. We've taken away the zips to aid in flexibility and warmth. It could be a little tricky to get into, just like the chest zip, but if you can, then this is the one to go for. So wetsuits are made by taking pieces of neoprene and bonding them together. The aim of this bonding is to stop the water from getting inside the suit. This is done in 3 key ways: a flat lock stitch, blind stitch, which is usually glued as well, and Rip Curl's new innovation, the fusion. So here is an example of the flat lock stitch. You can usually find these on spring suits or suits for warmer climates. The flat lock stitch is durable and breathable. It can tend to let a little bit of water in, so it is usually used in warmer climates. This is an example of a blind stitch wetsuit. The stitch doesn't actually penetrate the neoprene. This, coupled with the fact that it's also glued, stops the water getting through the seam. This means that blind stitch wetsuits are very warm and very durable. Finally, we have our fusion seam that has no stitching at all. So here we have the fusion. And what Rip Curl have done is they've actually cut the neoprene pieces at an angle, allowing a larger surface area to bond the neoprene pieces together. Because of this, no water gets through the seam, leaving you with a warmer and more flexible suit due to the no stitch. It's also important to look at the flexibility of the wetsuit's neoprene. We suggest going for the most flexible suit possible. This will ensure that it fits you correctly, leading to warmth and performance in the water. Another thing you might want to think about when buying a suit is the lining. So some suits aren't lined, but some are, and they can aid in warmth and flexibility, or both. I always suggest, if you can afford it, buy a suit with a lining. Once you've found your perfect fit, then it's on to the design. Here at Rip Curl, we've got loads of different ones, so hopefully we can find you your perfect wetsuit. But what is super important is, do not buy the wetsuit you like just because of the design. Make sure it fits you perfect too. We really hope you found our Women's Guide to Buying Wetsuits useful. And as a Rip Curl, we really hope to see you soon.